This is a Tier 8 match which we fought on Friday the 31st of July. Now, Tier 8 detachment matches isn't a place where generally we are comfortable as a clan. We find them quite challenging and most of the time we lose. But over this, in this match, as you will see, as a group of players we are maturing quite well, and we are a lot more comfortable as players in these kind of matches now. Now here we are on Corellia Tier 8, a collection of IS-3s, 1390s, a Tiger 2, a Hot Rods in a Centurion 1, and we've got a Borsig, and there's a T-54 lightweight which Rhyme is driving. Now you'll need to keep your eyes on the map in this particular instance. So the IS-3s are taking the front. I'm taking a little while to catch up. Slaw's gone down the middle of the map and he's already met the enemy T-54 lightweight. And the two 1390s and the T-54 lightweight are charging it down the other flank. Now their mission was to discover or outflank the enemy team. And what we're finding is that as we come down this traditional route, which everybody likes to take, we discover the enemy in their entirety. Now, unfortunately, Serene's just gone a little bit too far forward, and she cops the focused fire of the enemy team. I back away, hoping that either one of them can get back in time. Daisy initially goes forward. I'm so going to die initially goes forward, and Serene gets smacked, and eventually Daisy comes back and joins me. Now I'm backed up by the Tiger 2, by Hot Rod in the Centurion, and the Borsig, and we try and hold them off for as long as we can, using what essentially is some pretty awesome armour by the IS-3s, just facing the enemy and bouncing their shots either from the turret or from the very, very strong frontal armour that the IS-3s have. Now, as you can see, just keep an eye on the map. Slaw and the T-54 lightweight, Rhyme, have got to the top of the hill from the other side, and they are about to kill the T-54 lightweight and take that high ground. Jahid's in the other 1390s heading towards their cap, but he's in two minds, I think. He's out there on his own, and he's not sure whether to come forward or not. But the fact that there's nobody else on that flank, now he starts to move. Now we're still holding off the enemy team here, but we know they're all here. So Argosy comes around the back and starts to distract them, and discovers the position of the enemy tanks and puts some fire at them from behind. So now they're surrounded. We've got the high ground, the T-54 lightweight and Slaw, and the T-69 are on the high ground on the hill, IS-3's Tiger 2s and the Borsig in front, and Jahid's is about to join Argosy in taking a flanking position behind them. So the enemy is copying it from all sides now. We had a very small chance to win this match, but we're about to win it. So we're now 4-1 up, which is a terrific result. And the enemy is taking damage from all sides, and now it's time to move up. So we start to move. AMX-13s come in. There are two heavy tanks that think they can take the other tanks out, Slaw and Rhyme, out off the hill to get rid of that flanking force, but they will be a little bit too late, and they are completely distracted and are unable to support their teammates at the bottom of the hill. So what remains of the enemy heavy tank brigade is destroyed in a very, very, very efficient manner. We are now 7-2 up, which is a terrific result. And now we've got one enemy tank on the hill and one Tiger 2 just coming off the other side of the hill. Now the IS-3 starts to come down. He knows the game's over. He's still determined to go out with a bang. He takes out one of our tanks. We're still 8-3 up. I circle around the rock and try and grab him. The IS-3s have got no gun depression at all, so I'm reasonably safe here. Put a shot into him. He bounces off me. Mark Mel comes up behind him, tries to get him, but the other 1390, Jahid, takes him out. Well done. And the Tiger 2 is about to get smashed by Hot Rod and the other 1390. So that was a really good win. It was a terrific win. Well done. In this next match, we take on a clan called Owl, whose ratings are significantly better than ours. As you can see, they are rated about 6,000, a 53% win rate, and they are rated 90 out of a possible 1,500 clans on the World of Tanks website. So all of their stats are much better than ours. But head to head, in a Tier 8 detachment, let's just see what happens. Now again, very small chance to win. On Windstorm, Kinetic Rhyme is calling this particular match. Rhyme's ability at calling is terrific. If there was a way of getting him a better internet connection, then don't you think I would try? At any rate, here we are. It's the same kind of lineup: IS-3s, Centurion 1, Borsig, AMX 1390s. But Roach this time has bought his KV-5. Slaw's still in his T69. He's terrific in that little tank. So Rhyme has asked us to skirt the edge of the town, which is what we're going to do. So the light tanks end up going down the valley, if you like, down the riverside, and the heavies skirt the edge of the town on the 4-5 line in the middle of the map. Now we don't go into the town because once you get involved in those streets and you're isolated from each other, you can't support each other. The best way you can obviously get some kind of support for each other is to stay out of the town and as close to your teammates as possible. It's a nice idea to go through the town because there's lots of cover, but in the end, in these kind of matches, and this is where random matches are much, much different to detachment team battles, is that you all have to work together and obviously to win. So the enemy gets spotted coming up the middle of the map. We haven't spotted anybody in the town yet, and I'm a little bit wary as to whether somebody's just going to pop out and smack me from over there, but it turns out there's nobody there anyway. So I continue to push forward. Yeah, Rhyme is directing the light tanks, and they are cooperating rather well, as you can see if you keep an eye on the minimap. They're doing quite well over there. I'm pushing forward. The KV-5 is just behind me and off to my right. I'm moving through and into the middle of the map in order to give my teammates a little bit of support, and there, lo and behold, is almost the entire enemy team which we've exposed, and this is their heavy ones. So again, IS-3, fantastic armour, bouncy. KV-5 is still coming on. The Centurion and the IS-3 are moving up. We move up, and this is where we take on the enemy team and we destroy all of their heavy tanks. Now I move through the heavy tank line. I cop all kinds of punishment for doing so, and I'm ammo racked at the same time. I move into the river, try and get a shot on the enemy. Don't repair, should have repaired. Silly me. My teammates are concentrating on killing the enemy heavy tanks, but I'm taking it by the Borsig. Meanwhile, we are up one tank, 4-3. Rhyme is still getting the enemy's attention in his T-54 lightweight, trying to stay alive. The Borsig's giving him some level of support, and here comes Slaw. Now we've just killed all of the enemy heavy tanks and there's only one left. So Slaw's on his hammer and he is about to knock out that AMX 5100. Now the KV-5 comes up and smacks the Borsig. Does him a fair amount of damage. He dies. 1390 gets smacked as well. Roach is quite lucky here. he could have got killed from the right hand side, and as he moves he just avoids getting killed. Bang. I think he was quite lucky there. Well done. So we move up and around, flanking the enemy team, always looking for the advantage of position, and we come round with only 2 tanks on the enemy side left. They haven't lasted very long, this team. They're a bit easy. They're a bit easy beats. Quite a surprise. But we've come round. I think Serene has got the Super Pershing in her sights, and Serene's gone head to head with a Super Pershing and is about to take him out. Super Pershing is trying to obviously pen them from the front. It's very difficult. The only way you can really do it is to get round on their sides. But the game at this point is already over, and we complete the win. This next clan, Never Surrender, is from Vietnam, and as you can see, their clan rating at 6,700 is terrific. They occupy number 62 on the overall on the clans list on the webpage. Their win rates are about the same as ours, but XVM rated our chances to win this next match as being very, very low. But you see, that's the thing. XVM rates people on their random match performance, not necessarily in their team battle performance. This is the third match, Tier 8 match that we had for the evening. We are now in a situation where we're slightly in shock. We're winning our matches, we're adding enormous amounts of influence, which is the new currency for Clan Wars, to our totals, and we will use that later on. And we are doing very, very well. So, again, the lineup's the same, although Roach has left us and been replaced by Hot Rodney Centurion 1. And we are going to move forward. The light tanks are charging down into the valley, trying to stick together. The IS-3s, again, will stick together, and Van will follow up, keeping behind us to give us some support. Now, the light tanks end up meeting the enemy down in the valley, and that turns into a reasonably fast and furious fight. This game's been sped up a little bit. So we turn and engage as the enemy suddenly emerges from the ridge and dives down into the low ground, which I'm not entirely sure was a tremendously good idea, and I am a victim to the terrible inaccuracy of Russian weapons, even though, you know, I thought I let it aim a fair distance. But at any rate, we're all lined up here on the ridgeline, and we are taking shots at the enemy down on the low ground. So we are at an advantage while we remain high. Now we're moving back and forth. I'm taking some damage. Hot Rod's inflicting all kinds of pain on the enemy from his position a bit further up the map, and he was able to get there quite quickly because the Centurion's reasonably quick compared to the IS-3, of course. Now at this stage the enemy's on top. We've taken 2 of their tanks out, and they've taken 3 of us out. And we're moving back now, and we're going to try and take a more extreme flanking position by moving forward and hopefully taking them out from behind. Now, if you look down at the mini-map, of course, you can see that they're moving up towards our cap and doing it rather successfully. I've moved into a position to see if I can get a flanking shot on this guy behind the hill, and I fail to spot an IS-3 down the bottom of the hill who's only on 2%. I should have been paying attention, but again, that's terrific attributes of armour on the IS-3. Now, the problem was I thought I could take this guy out, but clearly I was wrong. Now, Van Helsing's trying to slog it out with this IS-3, but the Borsig's not a great brawler. It is in fact a sniper. But he will, while he dies swapping hit points with this guy, he will significantly weaken this IS-3 and make him a one-shot kill. Even though, of course, he dies himself. There we go. Unfortunately, but well done, Van. Now, Hot Rod's moving up as quickly as he can. He's still reasonably healthy. And he is going to move up into the cap, because they're on our cap now, and they're going to try and cap us out. But we are up 7-5, so we've got the advantage of numbers. The IS-3s are down in the valley, all except Serene, who stayed on the high ground, and she is moving across along with Mark Mel and Daisy. I speed the game up just a little bit. Serene comes out, she takes out a badly wounded IS-3 on her right and moves straight towards the cap. Now Slawbear is behind her and he will reset just to get a shot, but the price that he pays for resetting is that he gets smacked the minute he takes that shot. Bang, there he goes. So Serene becomes a home wrecker, moves straight through those houses, and then gets a shot on the enemy IS-3 and again resets the cap. She bounces a shot from him and goes toe to toe. Now, the enemy IS-3 is no longer interested in staying on the cap, he runs. And Serene instantly bounces a shot off his back engine plate, which is kind of funny. Now, for some reason, the IS-3 is not interested in Serene at all. No, I'll let, Serene can just, stay behind me, I don't care. I'm just going to take out this other guy because I can, even though I'm going to die. Serene gets the enemy in the end, and now we've got one enemy tank left. 2 against 1. Against a very highly rated opponent as far as we were concerned. And we had a very small chance to win this one. So we move forward. Daisy's toe to toe with this enemy. And Serene's going to come around the corner and hopefully finish him off. Now, Daisy's trying to take off, or to take shots at this cupola. Yeah, one of those. But the great weakness on the IS-3 is the driver's hatch. So if you're toe to toe with the enemy, an enemy IS-3, go for the driver's hatch in front of the tank. That's a very big weak spot, and Serene takes him out. Now this last and final match for the evening at Tier 8 was against GNS-R. Now as you can see, they've got 20,000 average battles each. Their clan rating's nearly 7,000 and they've got an over 50% win rate. So you know that promise that Wargaming made to match players of equal skill against each other? Well, it turns out that that's absolute rubbish. These guys are very, very, very good and constantly participate in clan wars and anything else they can get their hands on. So let's see what happens when they meet SPICA. This last battle in which we had very little chance to win, as I've already mentioned, against GNS-R, was one of the good matches, one of the great matches that I participated in, even though I did absolutely stuff all throughout the match. The light tanks take off down the 1, 2, 3 line. They're trying to get some position on the reverse side of that hill. The heavies and the IS-3s take a position on the reverse slope near the lighthouse in the middle of the map. If we take the reverse slope, it means that they have to come over to get at us, and that means they'll be vulnerable with any luck. The light tanks strike the enemy light force in exactly, and we're obviously thinking exactly the same things. Now, they get into a very hard and fast fight, which they're getting quite good at now. And they end up taking 2 for 2. So both sides lose 2 tanks each. And Jahid stays alive. He's under instructions to stay alive. And he does so, and he'll become important later on in the game. We're moving up, trying to get the advantage of position, which is very important. And if we can get this central point, we can shoot off to our left or our right, or potentially up above, and prevent them from taking a position on the lighthouse. Now the lighthouse position, if an enemy takes, if the home team takes this position on the reverse side of the slope, getting to the top of the hill is not that important anymore. It's really only important if you go the long way around, because then you can get shots from above. But as it turns out, that Type 59 doesn't go all the way up the hill. He just snipes from that raised position down the line, down the 4, 5, 6 line. Now, again, I'm frustrated in this match because there's not a lot I can do. I'm virtually by myself. I'm a target for everybody else. hot rod's moving up and back. He's got terrific gun depression and I have none, and I cannot get a shot on those tanks on the hill. The other IS-3s have gone off to my left, and there's an enemy light tank, a rogue enemy light tank suddenly comes out of the ether, and he gets taken out by Serene. Now, the KV-5 loses patience, takes out one of our IS-3s, gets smacked, and then loses half his health to a shot that I've taken, and I take another hit from the Type 59, who just loves to snipe. So I'm copping it from all angles here. I'm underneath the gun of that IS-3. He couldn't get at me because he's got no gun depression. So I get him back down the hill, but they're focusing their fire on Hot Rod. And so he disappears, unfortunately. I try and get a shot on this other enemy IS-3 and get taken out by that Type 59 who's come off the hill. Now we're 6 and 6. It's still even Stevens. And here comes Slaw and Jahids over the top on the other side of the slope, and they focus fire on the enemy tank with the least health, and he disappears quite quickly, and he's gone. And Jahids, I think at this point, is reloading. Now just keep an eye on the totals on either side. It's even Steven, 7-7 each. Jahids is still reloading. He gets taken out by the Type 59, who must be a terrific player. He did all kinds of damage during this match and could have been the difference. So Van is waiting now. He's taken out a tank himself. He's got one kill. Both the enemy tanks are on low health. He's just waiting for a reasonable shot. Slaw moves forward and tries to spot the IS-6. Take a shot on the IS-6 because he is the next obvious target. And they're just moving forward, trying to get into position, trying to spot, and there's the IS-6. Now Van does not have a shot on the IS-6, but Slaw does and puts a shot into him. Now the Type 59, where is he? Where's he gone? The Type 59 knows Van is somewhere over here. And we also know that he must be on the hunt for Van. And here he comes. Tree fall. Van moves around the back of the house. The Type 59 is looking for him. And Van swings around. He takes a shot, but he puts one into the Type 59, potentially taking away a good deal of his health and making him quite vulnerable, but he just needs to put in one more shot, and he does. And there goes Van after inflicting all kinds of damage. And Slaw will not be denied. Here he comes in his T69. He puts some heat into that tank, and again, and the match is over. And that was the end of our campaign. It was a ripper result, an absolute ripper. So this is our webpage from the World of Tanks Asia clan ratings page, and as you can see, our statistics were far inferior to all the opponents that we took on for the evening. All of these matches were played consecutively, and they were all wins. We had a couple of losses early on, but I think they were in Tier 6, they were not in Tier 8. And Roach asked the question, what do they do better? What do those clans do better that we don't? Well, the short answer is that a champion team will always beat a team of champions. So even though some of these guys are rated more highly than we are, as long as we play together, are aware of what we're doing, are communicating well, and know how to shoot properly, and take our time in aiming and executing our shots, we're always going to, most of the time, we will triumph. And we've certainly made the point and demonstrated that we can beat much better clans than us. So it was a good campaign, and it was a good set of matches to end that particular night's activity. So well done, everyone.